Hello everyone, welcome to a special spooky edition of Non-Scripted Ramblings. I'm a Kendall Richardson. Welcome, thank you for joining me. Today I wanted to talk about one of my favourite things ever in the world and existence of everything. As you know, maybe, if you know me, or if you don't know me, because in this series I haven't really talked much about him yet, but I love Michael Jackson, like, so much. He is one of my favourite people of all time. He has influenced my life so much so that I don't remember my life not revolving around him in any way. Like, as far back as I can remember, I've always had his music, his concerts and his short films, so I have such a great love and respect for him. Now, to bring us to why we're here, I wanted to talk a bit about his highly overlooked and severely underrated short film, Ghosts, that was released in 1997. Now, a lot of people don't know about this because it hasn't really been released physically on DVD or Blu-ray, which, you know, needs to be done, please. I think we're all kind of asking for that. Would be great. Yeah, it's such a crime that it gets overlooked and overshadowed so often by Thriller because, you know, Thriller, of course, is Thriller. It's a masterpiece. It's incredible. It's, you know, it's the only music video on the National Film Registry in the United States. Like, it's just incredible. You know, but Ghosts, for my money, and I've always said, I think is better far and away than Thriller. It is just ahead of its time, ahead of the game, a perfect example of Michael's, you know, striving to be ahead of, you know, be at the forefront of technology and entertainment and film, as well as music. And, you know, it deserves a lot more love. So that's why I'm here today. I want to just talk about it for a few minutes and let you guys know what I think about it. I wish I could direct you to be like, yeah, go watch it, but sadly I think there's only really the 4-minute version that they edited down for the Ghosts music video that's on Michael Jackson's YouTube channel, so maybe go check that out if you're curious. You totally should, because it's got some of the awesome stuff from Ghosts in it. But the full version basically comes from a story that was conceived by Stephen King himself, the horror master, and Michael Jackson. Originally it was going to be released in 1993 in conjunction with the release of Addams Family Values, the Addams Family sequel. And it was going to be just the song Is It Scary that Michael wrote for that. But sadly things didn't end up working out with that, so the project got put on hold. And then, you know, 3 years later, they started filming what we now know as Michael Jackson's Ghosts with, you know, Stephen King, Michael Jackson, Mick Garris, a frequent collaborator of Stephen King, and the legend that is Stan Winston, all working together on the screenplay of the story, and Stan Winston directing and using his enormous talent for special effects, visual effects, and makeup effects, of course. Stan Winston, just to name drop some things that he's worked on. I wrote all the most important ones down. So let's see, James Cameron works with him a couple of times with Aliens, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. He worked with Steven Spielberg on Jurassic Park. He did work for the first Iron Man movie. He worked with John Carpenter on The Thing, and with Tim Burton on Batman Returns. And he also worked with Michael Jackson originally in 1978 on The Wiz. He was part of the staff, I think, doing the makeup for that movie. So it's just, so you've got, you know, all of these incredible people working together to kind of bring to life this story that is just so, it's only a story that Michael could have come up with. The fact that he's playing this person called the Maestro. He's seen as an outsider. He doesn't live in the town, which is called Normal Valley, which I think is hysterical. He lives in someplace else, which is the name on the entrance to his mansion. And and you know, they call him a freak, they call him, you know, weird, you know, and then the people in the town want him to get lost. They don't want him around, they don't like him, they think he's bad, he's, you know, terrible, he's, you know, he's leading kids astray, as in like scaring them and stuff, because he's involved in the supernatural. There is something about him. He has this power, he has this magic and ability to kind of, you know, entertain but terrify people at the same time. And a lot of the parents in this angry mob are basically like, you know, you should be ashamed. Young children are impressionable, you know, how dare you, like, you know, torment them or traumatize them in any way. The kids, however, are having a blast. They're enjoying every second of this. Like, there's no problem. The parents are just being overprotective, which is fair enough, I guess, because, you know, you don't want your kids to see something awful and then grow up having been affected by a traumatic event like that's. So, but it's fine. The mayor is heading up, the mayor of the town is heading up this mob, and he's played by none other than Michael Jackson, in a fat suit. They made him look like a middle-aged Caucasian man with, he's like got grey hair, glasses. He looks like Drew Carey. It's so funny. But like, you know, different. But yeah, when I was a kid watching this, no idea that was Michael Jackson under there at all. I was clueless. I mean, you can sort of tell, but you can't at the same time. So it's really cool to see him stretch his acting legs, as I like to say, in this whole thing. It's a lot of fun to watch. He's actually really good as the maestro as well. The man they've come to evict from his own home, you know, because, you know, who likes to do that? And yeah, he's like this really nice man, like he scares them, but, you know, they're threatening him to get out, and he's, you know, he's just feels intimidated, so he's like, you know, oh, you're trying to scare me, okay, I think I'm gonna scare you then. And so he just kind of, it's very funny, he turns around and just starts making faces at them, like freaky looking faces, and it's just, oh, and the parents are just like, oh, okay, that's what the fuss is all about then, right, we're wasting our time, we should go. And then, you know, the mayor's just like, that's not funny, yelling at him and everything, and then he's just like, well, is this scary? And then he puts his hands on his face and like pulls and stretches everything, and then they just lose their shit, and then it cuts back to the maestro, and he's got his jaw and he's pulling it down, like all the way down to like his waist, and it's just, and then he lets it snap back and it comes back up, and then he pulls the skin on his face and he pulls it over his head, and then he's just leaving skull on his shoulders, and he smashes it and it crashes and comes apart, and it all looks super realistic, like especially the first shot where they pull his, like, I don't know how they did that, that's absolutely incredible. It looks so realistic. It's so well done. And then yeah, after that it's just incredible display of dancing and music and song, and like the way the choreography is done. Michael Jackson conceived of all the choreography in this, as he, you know, usually does, and like a lot of the dance moves are very, like the difference between Ghost and Thriller is the fact that Thriller, a lot of the dance moves are very simple, very easy to imitate, very easy to recreate, so that's why, you know, you see a lot of people know how to do the whole, that thing, and, you know, the head thing and stuff. But Ghost has a lot more complex dance moves, and like some simple ones, of course, but there's some moves in there that are just like, how are they, you know, doing that with their knees and their feet and arms and everything, that like, just, yeah, it's incredible. And the way that they've mixed in, or the way Michael Jackson has mixed in sound and just general, like, basic movement into the story and into the dancing, like the way certain claps and stomps and clicks and sneezing and coughing and then like flicking of the dust and stuff is just, the way it all comes together, the way it's all used is just beyond. Like, it's so well done. I love it. Yeah, so the first song of Ghost is Too Bad, off the History album. It's kick-ass, it's killer, it fits the whole vibe of Ghost. It's absolutely fantastic. The backup dancers, I should say, also are not your ordinary backup dancers. They're dressed up to look like these kind of zombified, like creaturified, you know, undead beings that have like, you know, they growl and snarl and hiss like animals, and they're covered in cobwebs, and they look like they're wearing like, you know, really old-fashioned clothes, like Elizabethan even, you know, Victorian England style. It's just, the detail that's gone into it all is just beyond anything I've ever seen in anything else. Like, it's just absolutely wonderful. And then the way they get involved with the story is very, you know, they're much more than just backup dancers. They're not relegated to the background. They're given their own chance to shine and do their thing and show their moves off and then show their, you know, skills at being super creepy. It's really well done. So, because they're introduced as his family, like, he like uses his powers, whatever he has, and he launches some like ectoplasm at the wall, and then they come out of it, and like, it's just, it's so amazing. One of the most impressive scenes though in this whole thing is the fact that there was a motion capture sequence done for this. So there's a whole scene where the maestro bends down, he pulls off like everything. It's like Robbie Williams' Rock DJ, except he cuts straight to the skeleton. And, you know, the only thing that's left are the trademark Michael Jackson socks and shoes. And it's just a skeleton. And he's dancing, like, he does all the Michael Jackson moves. And in the end credits, they actually show you all the behind-the-scenes footage of Michael going through all the makeup he did for all the characters he played, because not just 2 characters, he played a couple more. And, yeah, one of them is seeing him wearing the mocap suit. So he's got the all-black suit, and it's covered in the little balls and buttons, and he's wearing a hat, because there's a part in the dance where he takes a bow, and instead of taking what you would be your hat off, he takes his head off. And it's just, it looks so cool. So he does the moonwalk and everything, and just to see a skeleton do that, and it's rendered incredibly well. Like, a lot of the effects in this, makeup and visual, the CGI, it's 21 years old now at the time of me filming this. It holds up. Like, it's insane how good it still looks. It was the late 90s, and it looks just beyond. Even like, you know, the parts where they're dancing on the ceiling and going up the walls, and like, there's so much of it that just still looks just incredible. And there's another part where, the maestro, I keep wanting to say MJ, because he's kind of playing this like interesting, more eccentric, weird, supernatural version, if you will, of himself. The maestro possesses the mayor. He transforms into this like big super ghoul, they call it. And he's, you know, he looks very scary. He used to scare me so much as a kid, especially the skeleton too. But he transforms into this thing, it's like, are you scared yet? And then he like goes inside the mayor, possesses him, and then you see the mayor dance as if he were Michael Jackson. And that should have been the alarm bell for me to go, oh, it is MJ inside the fat suit. No, still as a kid, no idea, had no clue. How clueless was I? But no, it's, because I was like, oh, how did they get that guy to dance just like Michael Jackson? I wonder how. Anyway, yeah, so he goes inside, the mayor dances like MJ, and, you know, the maestro moves inside him and makes him do all these funny moves at the same time as doing the Michael Jackson moves, like he moonwalks, and then and then another part he's like shaking his ass and stuff, like stuff MJ never really did, just for the comedic aspect of it. Yeah, so it's so much fun, and then you see him like transform the mayor. He really scares the crap out of the mayor by like his arm bursts out like alien chestburster style, except there's no blood, but bursts out of his gut holding a mirror, and then the mayor transforms into this like, you know, scary, you know, mayor ghoul, and, you know, he's looking at himself in the mirror, and, you know, he's like, who's weird now, freaky boy? You know, and he's still yelling at him and stuff, but it's so scary. And then, yeah, he comes out, when the maestro comes out of the mayor, and the mayor's looking all dishevelled and stuff, and you see this like smirk on the maestro's face, like he's like standing like this, he just kind of smirks, and I love it, because it's like, you know, bet you didn't think I could scare you, and look what happened, you know, you mess with me, I'm gonna bring my A game. Yeah, it's so good, it's so good. Oh god, what else can I say? I don't know. It's such a good thing. You know, after that, you know, the sad part of it comes where, you know, the mayor's kind of unfazed. He's still like, no, you need to go. Like, you know, you've just proven to me, really, why I think you should leave. And so he's just like, fine, I'll go. And then he smashes himself on the floor. Like, he fists to the floor, smashed like they're clay, and then he smashes his head into the ground, like onto the beautiful floor of that ballroom, and then he just collapses into dust, and then the wind takes him out. And it's so realistic, it's so good, it looks amazing. I can't even with how good it looks, but it's so heartbreaking to watch, especially since, you know, MJ's passing. It's like really hard to kind of watch him say, well, fine, I'll go, and then effectively, you know, leave like that. It's just, sometimes it can be a bit triggering, but mostly it just looks really freaking awesome. But yeah, they think he's left, so they try to leave. The mayor tries to leave. He's like, I showed that freak, and then he opens the door, and then and then MJ's there, giant face as the super ghoul again, and he's like, hello, and scares the bejesus out of the mayor, who runs, and basically we don't know what happened to the mayor. He just ran for his life and jumped out a window. So and then the camera pans back around, and Michael's there, and the maestro is there, and he's like, so did I scare you? And then the townspeople just kind of, you know, let it out and go, like, realize they actually had a good time. Like, they were scared, but they enjoyed themselves, and they compliment him on his incredible dancing, and the whole thing is such a spectacle, and I just love just every little minute of it. And, you know, MJ's acting in it is so good. There's a couple of lines he says as the maestro that are like really creepy. Like when he's like, I'm gonna scare you, he basically is like, hello, game time, and he says it in this like really creepy voice, and he like claps and stuff, and it's just makes a face. I'm like, oh gosh, you know, it's really good. And then when they try to leave after the initial scares, he's like, you know, it's too late, you're my guests. And then he introduces his family, and it's just, yeah, it's so impressive. Everyone needs to watch it somehow. Find it, deep dive on the web, somehow watch it, because it's just one of the best things you'll ever watch. It's one of the best things Michael Jackson ever did. It holds up today. You know, it's Stephen King, it's Stan Winston, it's Mick Garris, it's Michael Jackson, it's all these, it's this incredible melding of creative and, you know, horrific minds. Like, you know, these people that are all masters of their fields coming together, and their work needs to be celebrated. So if you can find it, watch it, and enjoy it, and love it, and tell people about it, and spread it around, because it is hands down just one of the best things, like I said, he ever did during his time on Earth. So, oh man, I can't. I'm just looking at notes, see if there's anything I left out. I don't think there really is. Oh, Mick Garris was a zombie in the Thriller video, which is pretty cool. During the final scene when zombie MJ is creeping up on the girl, he's one of those zombies. And yeah, I don't know. And the music in this is so good as well. Like using ghosts and is it scary as well as Too Bad. Like those songs are all absolutely fantastic, and they fit this whole thing perfectly. So I don't think I can say any more. Just do yourselves a favor, go watch it. It's so scary, it's so funny, and it's such a thrilling entertainment ride, basically. So you're going to enjoy it. So please go watch it. Thank you for watching this and watching me rant about something that I love so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I guess happy Halloween. and we'll see you next time.